Welcome to the Mission35 Podcast with your host, Brian Hogbin.
Hey everybody, Brian Hogbin here, Mission35, and I'm here with
Monte Green.
The one, the only.
The one and only.
Monte Green. How are you, buddy? Thanks so much for taking time out of your day, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I appreciate being
here. You know, every time I tell you I love you, I hope you know that I truly, truly love you from the bottom of my heart, man.
You know, every time you tell me that, I can feel it.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh,
and the feeling is mutual. It's like we're old souls meeted who have met a long time ago.
Honestly, I met Monte at your store, the Right Stitch.
Yeah,
dry cleaning,
right.
man. Like, how many years ago? It's been like 9 years?
At least 8-9 years.
Yeah, and I walked in and I swear to God, it was like meeting a brother from another mother, man.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was, honestly. Like, you just have the best attitude. And one of the reasons why I wanted to... It's funny because I know a lot, but not a lot about you.
That's right.
And you just have one of the best attitudes out of anybody I've ever met in my life.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true, man. And I wanted to share your story and see where you came from and stuff.
Well, the thing is that I opened business. I came here to Canada from the United States. And I wanted to make a difference when I came to Canada. I didn't just want to just arrive here and just be here.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a difference. One thing that I was told, though, living in Lancaster, they had said, why would you want to open business downtown? There's nothing down there. So I thought...
How long ago was it?
That was 8-9 years, right?
Yeah.
And so I says, okay. I went to the lab, did some studying, and come downtown to see what was here.
Yeah.
And then I opened business, right? I opened a store in Jackson Square. I opened a store in Queen and Main. Tried to open a nightclub. Was going to open a convenience store, and all these things happening. And they found out. And they says, why did you do that? Why did you open a business downtown? I says, because you told me there was nothing down there.
Makes perfect sense, right? And I think that's like opportunity is arriving somewhere and seeing nobody there.
That's right.
It's not arriving somewhere and seeing everybody there, right?
That's right. And,
awesome, man.
And it was the best thing, Brian, I swear, and you know it's true. It was the best thing that I could have ever done because I got to meet some exciting people.
Yeah.
On all types of levels. I got to meet you.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I'm the lucky one. I'm the lucky one, Monte.
So I got to meet you. I got to meet a lot of great people. But more importantly, too, I got to work with the homeless people.
Yeah.
So I was on ground level, and I'm still on ground level with them. And that brings me back to where it all began.
Yeah.
I left home early age.
Where was home?
New York.
New York.
Yeah. I was born in Pittsburgh, but ended up moving to New York. I was 14 years old when I left home.
Man.
Right? And
it's like a movie. When I hear your story, it's like a movie, man. Like
it is. And one thing I learned is that why was the world so angry? Why were people so greedy? Like, I didn't want to become the normal person. I wanted to do something that was different. I wanted to have things and also give back. Even at a young age, right?
Yeah.
I would give things and people say, why did you give that away?
Yeah.
Because I was never attached to material things.
Never?
Never.
Even as a teenager? Like
never.
Never.
I would give things away all the time. Matter of fact, I would give my brothers things away sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was never attached to material.
Yeah.
And I was always getting joy from seeing people receive things, right?
Yeah.
As long as I was okay, but I can always give things. And it followed me all through my life. But like I said, I was wondering why the world was so greedy and so angry. But after not finding the answer, I said, let me make a difference.
Yeah.
And I've always said, if I become a businessman or an owner, I'm going to treat my employees like this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And it happened, right? And I became a boss. And I hate to say the word boss. I should take that back. Because I tell them we work together.
Yep.
There's no
it's like
boss
a team.
here. Yes.
I agree.
Right.
I agree with that. I like that.
Right. So we'd sneak out, go get some ice cream, go horseback riding. They said, shouldn't we be working? But I wanted to do things always on a ground level ever since I was 14 years old.
So when you left home at 14, do you mind sharing about your childhood? Because you had you didn't have a easy...
It was never easy.
And and I think it's a lot of like people people sometimes fall victim to their circumstances.
Yes.
And I think you had circumstances growing up in New York that were...
It was rough.
That were tough.
Yeah.
And you had to get out of them too, right?
Yeah, like gangs and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember standing in the mall, I had 35 cents in my hand, and the mall guard told me I had to leave in a thunderstorm. But growing up in gangs, selling drugs and doing things to make money, even in the midst of doing bad things, I used to do good things.
Yeah.
And try to justify my badness with the good.
That's awesome.
And, I would feed homeless again. I would put clothes on children who didn't have clothes. I would say, don't sell to a certain person. It was so weird. I was trying to justify my badness and trying to make things better.
Yep. But you always had that in you, right? Like,
it was always there. But sometimes you couldn't let that show because that's a sign of weakness to other people.
I've never been in that life, and I would not last.
Yeah, right. No, I don't think so. You wouldn't even last a second.
I would not last.
And it's not that something that I wanted to do. It's the card that I was dealt.
Yeah.
And growing up in that environment and seeing this happen, I kept saying to myself, there has to be something different. I just need an opportunity to become something different.
Was there like a catalyst or a changing point or somewhere you when you left and you said, I'm out of here, I'm changing?
Yeah, there was 3 things that changed my life. 3 things. I can always remember that, okay? One was a gentleman who was a stranger. One was a song. And the other was a situation where somebody had the reason, and I'll go over that real quick.
Cool.
One day I was walking down the street and I have gold teeth on. I got all this expensive clothes, and all this jewelry. And this gentleman come out of nowhere and he says, "Look at you." I said, "What do you mean, look at me?" "Look how you dress." I said, "Yeah, this is nice." He said, "No one's going to respect you dressed like that." I'm thinking, what is he talking about? I have thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. I have everything.
I got gold teeth.
Anyone can want.
Yeah.
I have everything, right? And it sunk into me, right, after a while. And then the second thing was I was running around with gangs at that time as a gang member. I was a negotiator in a gang. And
what's that, negotiator? In like?
I could go from neighborhood to neighborhood and negotiate with other gang members. Wow. Right. And so that let me see a lot of different parts of, the world, sort of kind of thing, and understand how people thought outside of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there was instance where people were saying things against white people, and white people say things against black people. And I remember I had met a gentleman earlier that day. It was a white gentleman. He was a really nice guy. And later on that night, I seen the gang trying to attack him. Okay? They didn't know him. And I intervened and I said to them, "Why are you doing that?" "I know him." And they asked him, "Do you know him?" He said, "Yes, I know him." I said, "Why are you doing this?" And they said, "Because he's white and he doesn't like us and he blah, blah, blah." I said, "That's not true. I met him earlier today, and he's a great person. Don't you know me?" He said, "Yes, yes, yes." Yeah. And so that made me think, wait a second here. The very people who are complaining about certain things are doing the things they complain about.
Yeah.
And where is the reasoning in that here?
Yeah.
So I need to be my own man, make my own decisions, and that be the case.
That's a tough thing, because sometimes people don't have circumstances nearly as stressful as that, and they can't make their own decisions.
That's correct.
100%. Right?
That's true.
And you're talking about being in the middle of that reminds me of Training Day or something like that with Denzel Washington, and you're able to make a conscious decision at that moment in time and say, I got to change things. I got to change my life.
And the third thing that happened was the final deal. I remember being in a smoke-filled room, even though I didn't smoke or do drugs or any of those things. I remember being in a smoke-filled room and a song came on.
Yeah.
And I've always heard this song, but I never listened to the words of the song. And in one part of the song, the lyric said, "Why do people choose to live this way?" And I thought, oh my goodness, this is a choice. So that means I can make another choice besides this choice here.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And then, as that lyric ended, it repeated itself again. And in that instant, in that very instant, I got up, I looked around, I didn't say nothing to nobody. I went, packed my clothes, and I went to Boston.
Really?
I lived in
Boston.
So
the first event, second event, and you hear that, and you're like, my life is a choice.
Choice.
Good for you. Wow.
It's a choice.
That's powerful.
It's a choice.
That's awesome.
And I made the choice to move and get out.
Wow.
And leave everything.
I think that's why you can be such a, like, you're a leader in the community when it comes down to, like, you make me want to be a better person every time I talk to you.
I appreciate that.
No, you do. Every time, like, you're always taking in donations, you're always doing things, and I love how, because we see in our industry a lot of people that want to make a lot of money. And people always want to make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you make a lot of money, you lose sight of charity.
Yeah.
Or you're so concentrated on green.
Yep.
That you forget about the charity part, right?
That's right. And that's the sad part.
Because you've done both.
I've done all of it, and I'm still doing it. To that, so now I'm in business, doing what I have to do, all the things that are positive, everything are great. But then I start seeing the crooked side of business people. I was like, what is going on here? I see the crooked side of the people that are not in business, and I see the crooked side of people that are in business. What I mean,
they're just dressed differently now.
Yeah. What I mean by that is, I said, why are these people shortchanging people? Why are these people doing all these things? But once again, you couldn't get an answer to a person's greed, right? So I says, okay, let me just do things that are positive and open, so everyone can see, and it's not self-fulfilling for myself.
Right.
And it's been happening. I've been doing everything that I need to do.
Yeah. Well, I see you. Like, you're like a connector of people, because you always look at every situation. Instead of thinking, what can Monte get out of this? Yeah. You're always, because I know you've helped me out. You've always put my name out there for things, and I've always appreciated it. But you always are that guy that's looking at everybody else first.
The reason that is, and I'm glad you brought that up, the reason why that is because I'm always trying to show people who are the good people in business, right? A lot of people have a skeptic about certain things, and I'm always saying, hey, don't say that about that person. Let me show you. Here, look. So I built a trust in the community. Now I have a one-on-one connection with people in the community, and say, if I say go to Brian, they're gonna go to Brian. I say go eat pizza over there, they're gonna eat pizza over there, because they know my personality reflects the person that I'm dealing with, and vice versa.
And I think you get so much back from that. Do you find that you do?
Like, it happened the other day. It happened. Your name came up. It happened the other day. One of the guys that I referred to you, big tall guy, Nigel.
Yeah, amazing.
And,
such a good
So
guy.
I went to go I bought some food from Nigel.
Yeah.
And his face was bright, right? I was like, what are you smiling for? I met Brian. I said, oh, you met him? Yeah. Dude, he's exactly like you said he was. Well, see, that was full circle.
Yeah.
And he's like, he was very warm and I said, I told you. He said, yeah, man, you're right. And that is the connection you want to create.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then I think that starts to create more as well.
That is exactly what my purpose is, and that's exactly why I do what I do. That's awesome, that's why I'm so happy that we met.
Oh, Monte, I love you, brother. So what's next for Monte Green? What do you think? Like I look at you, and I look at you as someone that could really do anything. Yeah. Really, because you got a great personality, you got business sense. What's your next sort of goal? What's the next thing that you want to do?
Well, I've been a mentor to a lot of people, and they open their own business from this point on.
Well, and I think it's important because Monte's so humble, and I just want to say this because, like, you literally open your doors at the Right Stitch for homeless people. You do counseling for them, literally for nothing.
That's for nothing.
You do it, like, and I just think that is like, how many times I come into your shop, you're like, I'm just doing a session back here, right?
I know,
and I'm telling you, but that's like you're an example of someone who can, you can have a nice house, you can drive a nice car, you can have financial freedom per se, and still give so much, and you do it. So that's why I just love you, because you're humble.
Thank you so much. I'm working right now with a kid who graduated from Berkeley in music, and he opened up a thing called Music Palooza.
Oh yeah.
And Norman cookies, or what's that name? That cookie?
Vorman
cookies.
Yeah, I know my cookies. Sorry. Yeah.
They bought a building, and they're using that building to house kids to learn music for a week. $40, right?
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to sponsor some kids to go there. Right.
Awesome.
So I sponsored some kids to go there, even though their parents didn't send them. I still sent the money. But when I went there the last day, they doing our thing, I was intrigued. I said, you know, what more can I do to contribute to this? And this morning I called them. I said, hey, I think I found a way to get more kids involved. Let's create a mascot. How are we going to do it?
I have no idea. Yeah.
But I said, we need to get a mascot for you. So we can, you know, and I'm probably going to end up being a mascot, right?
Yeah. But you're animated. You look good that way.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but these are the things that I am thinking about on a constant basis.
What
like more can you do in your community and have fun with it?
Yeah.
I don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I got to go meet some homeless people and talk to... No, I
you
never
love it.
think like that. That is somebody's daughter. That is somebody's brother. That is a citizen. That is a human being. Love each other. Life is short. Enjoy this life. That's me.
That's awesome, because what happens with that mentality I see with you is, if I lived in Toronto, I'd drive to Hamilton to get my work done, like to go see you.
Thank you.
I would, just because like
some people do.
I believe it, right? Because it's like it doesn't. You want to deal with the person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and what they stand for, and I just love what you stand for. So you know what? I would love to do. We're doing an Easter egg hunt in April. Actually, we do one for the community. So if there's any way that we could maybe sponsor something, let me know. Do you know what I mean? Because I always want to get involved with stuff that you're involved in. So if there's some, you let me know.
I would like, love for you to do something with Music Palooza. Yeah. They need help, and they're great. They are awesome with these kids, and I just seen the kids' faces, and they get a little certificate when they're done.
You know what we're gonna do? We usually do we do our Easter egg hunt April 15th. We're gonna have a donation thing for Music Palooza, and we'll make sure I'm gonna donate the first $100 for it as well too, and make sure that we
that's cool.
You know, can help some kids.
That's cool. That's awesome.
I wanted to be a rock star before I got into marketing. That clearly did not work out. So, you know. But Monty, I know you're a busy guy, and I just want to say thanks for coming out, man.
I love you.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for thinking of me. I thank you for having me here. There's no place I'd rather be than
is there anything else you want to say to anybody?
I like to say just love each other and be kind to each other.
Thanks a lot, Monty. I appreciate it, buddy. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.
See ya.